I'm Antonia Gaviria-Rozo. I am a junior and I'm studying neurobiology and physiology, double major with psychology.
My name is Lindsay Rosen. I'm a sophomore at the University of Maryland and I'm studying microbiology with an astronomy minor.
I'm Lauren Archer. I'm a sophomore and I'm studying applied mathematics at the University of Maryland.
Hi, my name is Hannah Lee and I'm a junior public health and psychology major at University of Maryland.
I'm Elijah. I'm a computer science major. I've been at the University of Maryland for about 3 years now.
I'm diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, and I have had major depressive episodes in concurrence with anxiety for the last 10 years as well.
I've pretty much had anxiety, especially anxiety, but also ADD since probably my whole life.
In 8th grade, I was diagnosed with depression, and then about 9th grade, I was diagnosed with ADHD. And then senior year, I had a manic episode, which I didn't know was manic, and then I had a depressive episode to the point where I had suicidal thoughts and had to be hospitalized. I actually ended up spending my 17th birthday in Johns Hopkins.
My background with mental health is basically family history. I have parents that both have suffered from depression, and my brother's bipolar.
I was actually not born in the US, so mental health for me is mainly academic focused.
Anxiety makes going to school very difficult a lot of the time. Exam anxiety is very related to my specific type of anxiety, so I can't do as well in school if I'm in certain situations. If I've had a really bad day, if I have had such an anxious night that I haven't been able to sleep, I won't be able to perform as well in school, which is very frustrating. I have accommodations because of anxiety, because if I have a panic attack during an exam, I'm not able to function very well. Or if I'm going through a depressive episode, I will shut myself off, and it's really hard to claw yourself back out of a dark hole.
Basically, I've always just lived in constant state of exhaustion, and I thought it was just me not exercising enough or not eating healthy enough, because that's what they always said. But I was no, it's definitely more than that. It would take me hours to do the most simple homework that I knew how to do, just because I couldn't stay focused on it, and I thought that was just me. I felt kind of guilty about it.
Once I had gotten out of the hospital, I had started medication, and it really changed me. I wasn't able to do art the same way. It just didn't feel the same. Medication just affects your brain chemistry and the way you think, that I literally could not do my passion the same way I could, and still to this day, since I've been medicated, I can't do it the same.
Basically, I thought it was just me kind of making a big deal out of nothing and exaggerating.
But then they diagnosed me with bipolar and everything made sense.
Then I realized it was something, and I'm definitely glad that I got help for it. I want everyone to understand that it can get better and can get easier. It takes work, and honestly, you're such a strong person if you can get through everything, but it does get better.
One thing people have to realize is that mental health is there's so many layers to it.
Take a step back and realize that everyone struggles with something, and it could be, bipolar disorder, it could be anxiety.
As a kid, you don't realize what is impacting them and why their brain chemistry might be a little different than yours.
Trust that people aren't going to believe the taboos, and trust that people aren't going to automatically assume that you're sick or crazy or any of the bad stigmas that go along with mental health. It's really hard to do so because we're so surrounded by that culture in the media and in other people's conversations every single day. But if you trust that your friends are going to be there for you, it's going to be a lot easier to make friends because you're not going to shut yourself off from them. I wish I knew that my family was going to help me through it. For the first 6 years of the 10 years, I shut myself off. My family didn't know that I was dealing with anything. They knew that I was bullied very badly in school. I had to be pulled out of school.
I really wish that at a younger age I had been more forward with speaking up for those that have mental health challenges.
It does get better for everyone around you and yourself if you speak about it, and I can talk from experience. Being open with bipolar has made it so much easier to cope with it.
There's so many people out there willing to help, and it's just a matter of being strong enough to admit that you can get help, and then it can get better.
An advice I would give is students growing up in in elementary school, middle school, I'd really highly encourage them to take a step back and try to really focus on like what they're struggling with the most in outside of school, because at the end of the day, like, yes, school is important, but your self-esteem is just as important. And if you feel like you don't have that self-respect for yourself, like, it's not gonna help you in the long run.
I think a lot of it is listening non-judgmentally. So I'm trained in mental health first aid, so I'm certified, and something that they really stress is the whole act of listening non-judgmentally and really understanding that you don't know what the person has gone through.
For me personally, I think finding a support group, I think having that group of friends who like understand what you've been through and like can support you through that is like so important.
And I've had people tell me before, oh, I wish I had extra time so that I could do better too. And the extra time allows me to perform at the same level that you do on a daily basis. I'm not trying to sympathize like, oh, I'm sad sometimes, or I get stressed with exams. Like, that's not the same thing. And understanding that you don't know what they're going through is really important.
I think the most important part of this project is to realize that mental health issues can manifest in so many different ways. It doesn't affect one person the same exact way for anybody else, and you can be affected by it directly, like I am with bipolar disorder, or you could be affected indirectly by a family member or a friend.